back on the inside. Once again, we got to muscle these to rough shape. We want these to tuck back nicely against the back of the panel as much as possible. Since you're never getting at these, once you've installed them, you want all your smaller breaker wires to run in front of them. That, and sometimes I've had the panel door screws, if you got wiring coming right up against the inside of the lip, you know, these things sometimes they've got they're the self-threading type, they've got a cut on the threads and they'll screw right in and short out your wires. I've tightened the doors of the panels, hear a pop, and you know, breakers tripped because it cut into the insulation of one of the hot leads there. Work with your 4/0 wires first, and when you do your 3/0 neutral, boy, it seems so easy. There's these circuit covers. I guess they prevent you from accidentally bumping your lugs here. They got little places, I think, for wire ties. And those load in just like that. We'll add the wire ties on later. Okay, let's go back outside and do the outer connections. We'll need this, and our tube of goop. Wants to come out of the side of the package more than it does the end, which is fine. Kind of nice and pleasant just listening to the crickets and the birds out here. I remember when this used to be a sawmill and they used to have this chip conveyor and a blower, just a drone all day long from about 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then they'd shut it down. Okay, we'll feed the neutral through, make the connections inside, and then and those will be down here. And then the outside neutral connections will be the last piece of this. And then the panel is ready for inspection. Okay, we have our neutral conductor. Okay, back outside for the last connections. Oh boy, okay, let's see. I need to come under this loop. And back up through in some fashion. This one can come back on itself up under here. It should work out pretty good. Sometimes these last ones get really tricky. There we go. Well, someone who does this every day is much better at it than me, but I think it's all right. And if Virginia Power doesn't like anything about the way this is routed, I'm sure they'll wiggle the wires and move them. One of our last steps is connecting the ground wires. So we've got conduit coming down below grade. We've got an 8-foot ground rod, which I have to measure one in the store because it says that the code says that the ground rod has to be buried at least 8 feet. And so if they give us an 8-foot ground rod, and then it has to be buried at least 8 feet, you do the math, it has to be fully driven underground. So, first step, get the ground clamps on. I'm going to do these facing up. Coming up from the bottom, so that once I drive this wire all the way down, or the rod all the way down, it'll be buried at least 8 feet. Using a deep well socket to tweak the end of this number 4 wire into the right shape. Okay. Now, the inspector's coming out tomorrow, So we'll find out if there's anything he doesn't like, and I can pop the rest of that down into the ground from this point. My final operation before the inspector comes tomorrow is to get the ground wires tied in. So give this guy a 90. And they have combination flat, like conventional screwdriver and square drive on the screws. Square drive lets you get a lot more torque. Tuck that guy out of the way. All right. Well, hope that will be to the inspector's satisfaction. If it's not, you can make any adjustments necessary. And very soon after this, we will have power to this monster shop. Let's call this a wrap for Engineers Workshop. I'll check back with you in a couple weeks once Dominion Virginia Power has their inspection taken care of. And then they got to set a transformer in place, connect up power to the outdoor meter, and we can get started putting a couple of outlets and switches for overhead lights on these panels. I think I'm going to just put all my circuits on the left panel for now, keep this one in reserve. It's going to take me a long time to fill that one up, but we'll continue as we can once we have power and we won't have to run that annoying generator. Thanks again.